Are we on the brink of all-out nuclear war? In theory, no. Although North Korea and the US are showing their missiles off on a nearly daily basis, their movements have a doctrine behind them, which is the reason why there haven't been any nuclear attacks since Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Its name, the Theory of Mutual Assured Destruction, but, as it states, it's just a theory. What exactly is Mutual Assured Destruction theory? Basically, that any nuclear attack would immediately lead to all-out nuclear war, and that if this happened, all nations involved would be completely wiped out. They stand to lose a lot more than they can win. Therefore, no one attacks anyone. This means that it's not the sanity of governing leaders which keeps the world intact, but fear. Fear of what could happen to them if they were to attack. No leader wants to see 100 kilotons of depleted uranium dropped on their country. But, could North Korea bring about the destruction of the United States? This is unclear. Mutual assured destruction applies to countries with comparable nuclear arsenals. And as we can see, North Korea has far fewer nuclear warheads than the US. The bomb that the US dropped on Hiroshima had a yield of 15 kilotons. This would be its impact if it were dropped on Barcelona, including the explosions and the nuclear fallout. And if the most powerful one ever tested by the US, with a yield of 15,000 kilotons were dropped, the result would be this. And this is what would happen if the most powerful one ever tested by Russia, with a yield of 50,000 kilotons, was dropped, in addition to the nuclear fallout, which would spread much further in time and space. The precise size of North Korea's arsenal isn't exactly known, but its latest test may have reached 120 kilotons. Nothing compared to the US and Russia's most powerful tests, but, even so, a colossal power in the hands of Kim Jong-un. Should we already be heading to the bunkers? In theory, no. According to military wisdom, mutual assured destruction implies peace. MAD equals peace. Military command centers say that MAD ensures lasting peace, and that it's been this way since the end of World War II. But, just like all theories, it has its weaknesses. It assumes that there will be no false positives which trigger a conflict. During the Cold War, there were various false positives, but they were detected in time. It also assumes perfect rationality among leaders who have the power to order attacks. The episode of Vasily Arkhipov at the height of the Cold War showed that this isn't always the case. Vasily convinced the captain of his submarine in extremis to not launch a nuclear missile against the US. If he hadn't done this, the world may not be as we know it today. It overlooks erratic behaviour, which fanatical leaders on the verge of ruin can possess. As Churchill once said, the deterrent does not cover the case of lunatics or dictators in the mood of Hitler when he found himself in his final dugout. Both Trump and Jong-un match the profile of a fanatical, erratic leader. Therefore, as we can see, the theory keeping peace intact is fragile. So what happens if it breaks down? Apart from the immediate destruction and the radiation, a nuclear war with the current power available would give rise to enormous amounts of dust and ash, which would create clouds. Clouds which would block out the sun for weeks or even months. The world's temperatures would drop to ice age levels. Photosynthesis would be impossible, meaning that all beings which perform it would die. And as they find themselves at the bottom of the food chain, the remaining species would soon follow. Or, in first person, we would soon follow. When Trump and Jong-un play with their missiles, they seem to forget this, as the tiniest error would impact the whole world. And it's not us saying this, it's their own theory. It's time to stop.